Show ends with Cactus Jack cutting a promo on the bad guys and being way over his head, and then he's sort of, getting new friends in. Cactus Jack also says nobody can stop him and threatens Paul Orndorff for their upcoming match. Then Cactus climbs the cage, credits roll, good night Cactus, I think Jim Ross says, then the credits roll. Yeah. The postscript to all this is, I was just looking through my notes here, I've got another 2 pages of actually, only a page and a bit of postscripts. We'll probably refer to a couple of things, and then we'll shut this podcast down. In the credits, I'm sure you weren't watching the credits very carefully, there was a get well to a chap called Robbie Kainoff. Do you remember that name?
Yes, yeah. Remember well. Robbie Kainoff was the vice president of San Francisco Toys. Mm-hmm. He would be instrumental in bringing ECW the deal to put the action figures out. At this time, Robbie Kainoff was palling around with Flair. And the infamous story is that he had 3 times, Flair had supposedly gotten ruled for his Rolex and couldn't go home without it. So Robbie, his uncle was a jeweler. He would get these Rolexes and doll them up like Rick's was and engrave them like Rick's was, send it out. Did it on spec the first 2 times, and Rick paid. The 3rd time, Rick did not pay. And I thought a pretty crappy thing. These guys like save your ass from going home without your Rolex, and you try to take them. But yeah, and how was again pertaining in this episode? What did they say?
Well, in the credits it says get well to Robbie Kainoff because he had recently suffered a heart attack, and I think Robbie's association and Galoob's association, who's the company he was working with at the time, no longer were providing action figures for WCW, but because Robbie was so well liked by the boys, he got like a little mention in the credits as well. So I just wanted to bring his name up. How did he get involved with ECW?
I showed up one day and he was there. It was there with all the equipment, and we're told that that it's for action figure. I mean, they had Panflex machines and everything to take body scans and photographs, take close 3D shots from front, side.
And this was all like portable then, so he brought it with him.
Yes.
Okay.
And I had assumed naively, I guess, that Paul would be coming to us and negotiating, what it's going to take to get your figure out. And lickety split a few months later, there's action figures out of ECW. And by this time, I'd gotten to know Robbie pretty well. Robbie would, hang out the bar with us, me, Franny, Bammer, Chris, and he and I became quite close. In fact, when we had our first son, he had sent us a stroller and, like expensive stroller, expensive car seat, bassinet, that kind of thing. And I asked him, I said, like, who gave you permission to put these figures out? And he never negotiated with us. And he got this sick look on his face. He went, Paul doesn't have the rights. I said, I don't know about anybody else in the dressing room, but he didn't have the rights to mine. And I wasn't going to screw this guy because those action figures really did help get the word and the name out of ECW. But it showed me, like, if Paul was, going to do business deals like that, in a behind our back type of way. Don't know what San Francisco Toys paid to Paul for that, but those kind of things that were early on in ECW, but would portend what we would see later from Paul in ECW. And I didn't want to screw Robbie, and I forget the name of the guy that was the president. He was the vice president of San Francisco Toys. I used to remember the guy's name as the president, but I figured they've done this to help us. I'm not going to go pull the rug. And I don't know, to be honest with you, everybody else in that dressing room who did own the rights to their name and who didn't. But I knew that I had spent a lot of money doing mine, and but I wasn't going to screw them for doing us a deuce.